This is Overthinking with Carmen. I'm your host, Carmen Michael Smith, your overthinker in chief, spiraling publicly so you don't have to. And this week's spiral begins with something that landed on my TikTok feed like a slow-moving car crash. Black men and women, some of them quite articulate, many of them quite loud, talking about DL men, gay men, pan men, bisexual men, men with childhood experiences, talking about them with such disgust and certainty, and frankly, such pain that I had to pause and ask, what are we really afraid of? You see, there's this idea deeply rooted in the Black American psyche that everything has to be binary. You're gay or you're straight. You're masculine or you're not. You're a real man or a type of man. You're a real woman or a kind of woman. And somehow, the moment a man even thinks outside the lines, whether it's a kiss in third grade or a friendship too tender, he's discarded. And I want to ask, discarded by who? Because this isn't about dating preferences. It's about power. It's about fear. And if we're going to be honest, it's about supremacy. The kind that says, I get to name you. I get to define your identity. And if it doesn't fit my comfort, I get to erase you. And that, beloved, is dangerous. I talk about this in my book, The 4 Laws of Disruption. I say, we inherit scripts, and then we become them. And questioning the script feels like questioning the person who gave it to us. It's why it's hard to speak up around family, while we're still arguing about gender roles that came from enslavers. Why we make jokes about losing your black card over harmless things, like not knowing a line from Martin. And never stop to ask, who's holding the card reader? And that's what I'm asking in this episode, not for critique's sake, but because I believe we are more than the trauma that has shaped us. If you've ever been to the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C., you'll know this plaque on the 3rd floor that I'm talking about, right as you enter. It says something like, Africans came to America through the Middle Passage, but African Americans were born here. A new people, shaped by new struggles and new dreams. That moment, that sentence, that truth changed how I saw us. We are a new people. We got on boats in Africa from separate tribes, speaking separate languages, sometimes from separate areas, calling foods different names. And we all got put on these boats, stolen away, come through the Middle Passage, those who survived the journey. We were never who we were when we landed here, but when we landed here, we became a new people, in a new way, in a new land. We are a new people, and that means we're writing a new script. Well, at least we should be. So why are we the only ones talking about this stuff? Why is Black TikTok still debating whether someone who experimented in middle school deserves love now? Because our traditions are trauma bonded. And I don't say that lightly. I say that with care and love. Because we learned survival through silence. Because the church taught us that queerness was dangerous. Because culture taught us that masculinity was fragile. and because we're still living by the rules that weren't written for our liberation. It didn't even have our liberation in mind. And let me pause here to repeat something that I say in my first book, Holy Queer, that Black is not just a skin color. Black is a people, Black is a culture, Black is a religion. Just like the Jewish people, culture, and religion. You can be a Black person and not be part of the Black religion. You can have Black skin and be considered a Black person, but cultured African, cultured British, cultured Caribbean, cultured American, hence the term African American. We may all look the same in terms of skin color and tone and melanin. We may all know what gospel music in the church is, but our cultures are different. And lately, I've been disrupting my own culture, my own scripts. You see, my fridge isn't full anymore. My pantry is not packed. I buy what I need and I eat what I buy. Not because I can't afford more, but because I'm rejecting the fear that once told us that we needed excess to prove that we were safe. Same with furniture, plastic on the sofa, untouched dining rooms, deep freezers full of meat, sometimes twice, just in case. That's not luxury. That's trauma decor. And I don't want to live in a museum of survival. I desire to live in liberation. Because here's the real. We talk about queerness like it's a contagion, a disqualifier, a stain. But what if the real issue isn't queerness? It's fear. And as a minister, I got to remind you what the word says. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind, 2 Timothy 1:7. So if your rules, your preferences, your culture has taught you disgust that is rooted in fear, then don't you dare put God's name on it. Yes, I know I make people uncomfortable. I disrupt rooms. I don't say what I'm supposed to say. But see, I don't do this for clout or chaos. Truth-telling has never been popular. I flip the tables like Jesus did, not to scatter things, but to make space. Space for healing, space for truth, space for God. Because we are not called to comfort. We are not here to protect fragile norms. We are here to be free. And if your idea of Blackness can't hold trans people, queer people, tender boys, stud girls, or complexity, then maybe it's not Blackness. Maybe it's just fear dressed up in cultural drag. So ask yourself, what scripts are you still living that no longer serve you? What part of your Black card is tied to someone else's supremacy? Can you love someone even when they disrupt your narrative? So once again, thank you for allowing me to overthink with you. And my fellow overthinkers, I want to leave you with this. There is nothing sacred about holding on to the suffering of those who came before us. But there is something holy about doing the work of breaking every chain. So until next time, may you question your narratives. May you question your Blackness. May you live without fear, and may disruption be the catalyst for your liberation. Hey, overthinker, you want to spiral even deeper? then grab your copy of the number 4 Laws of Disruption at the number 4 lawsofdisruption.com. And remember, we overthink better together.